Hello, my name is Bonnie. I'm one of the co-founders here at the Oasis of Light Quantum Healing Center. And today I'd like to share a little bit of information that may be helpful to you regarding the ego. I'm sure you've all heard that term. It may have a positive light, it may not, here depending on how it's used. But I'd love to share some information. I have the wonderful privilege of helping individuals through quantum healing hypnosis. And that is a form of past life regression where we get to, again, help individuals receive answers for their many questions and also receive the ability to heal, both on a physical, emotional, and mental level. And it's just an honor and a privilege to witness the miracles that occur in these sessions. But I wanted to start off by explaining in these sessions, we are helping clients go into a deep state of trance, and it's beautiful and relaxing and wonderful. However, over the years here, instead of being completely unaware during trance, most of the clients are now, if not fully aware, at least partially aware, which is wonderful to be able to hear what's being offered during the session. The only, I wouldn't say hiccup of that, but the only thing that we sometimes deal with is this thing called the ego mind. Can, not always, but can want to interfere. And by that I mean someone will be in a wonderful trance state offering beautiful answers to their questions, and then they'll hear a little voice come from the side that may try to censor their answers or shorten them or debate with them. And so prior to conducting the QHHT OT sessions here, I began explaining to the clients a little bit about the ego. This has really helped them. So I just want to share an example of how I explain it to them. First off, we all have an ego. You have to be in human form. And the ego's a wonderful thing to have. It's what keeps the human vessel alive. And so it keeps the heart beating while you're not focused on it. It keeps the lungs breathing without you paying any attention to it. It also keeps you safe. In other words, it alerts you if danger is coming. It prompts you to run or to get out of the way. It also helps keep you from doing dangerous things. It also can be very helpful if you're in business and you need to, if you have deadlines or determined things that you need to do here, it can really help you stay focused and get on track and get things done. So there's many benefits of having an ego. However, as long as it's a healthy one and kept in check. And so again, that's number one question. Is the ego healthy? You've probably heard the term egotism or egotistic, and oftentimes the ego can get out of hand. What we've found is that as of the last several thousand years here, the ego's really been allowed to take control of most of our existence. Most people do not understand that it's driving everything in their life. And so it's become accustomed to being the end-all decision maker. And so I know everyone's experienced this. You'll have wonderful insight. You'll have a beautiful idea pop in. It feels amazing. Your heart's drawn to it. You go, I know I can do this. This is incredible. And you're focused on that, and all these wonderful ideas pop in about how you're going to do it. And you may stay focused on that for hours or days or even a week or so. But at some point, for a lot of us here, this grand opportunity that we have been developing or receiving, I should say, all of a sudden starts to become we start to receive criticism, I should say. So you'll hear, for example, I talk about the two different voices. So my grand idea is coming in over here, and on this side I've got, are you sure you can do that? And I don't think you quite know what you're doing, and that's going to cost a lot of money, and it's going to take too much time, and you really aren't intelligent enough to do that. You don't have enough help. So it wants to second guess. And I can look back and see where I've allowed the ego to dissuade me from doing many things that would have been amazing because I allowed that self-doubt to creep in. So with that said, I've developed a little exercise here that I use to coach clients in on how to help get that overactive ego, that aggressive ego, back in line so that it's manageable and controllable. Yes, I need that ego to keep me alive, my physical vessel functioning, and I need it to keep me safe. And when I've got a project or a deadline, it's great to have it there kind of pushing me along. But for the most part, I don't want it controlling my entire life or making important decisions for me. Instead, I want to lean a healthier source. So here's how I explain this. I explain that the human brain has two sides, a left side and a right side, and most individuals are familiar with that. There's a seam down the middle. The left side of the brain, I explain, is where the intricate stuff is. In other words, the math, the science, it's where the technical stuff, it's where most men reside on the left side. It's, women can be there too, but it tends to be more male. The left side, again, contains structure. It's the type A personality over there. And again, it's very controlling. However, the right side of the brain, this is where the creativity comes from here. The art, the dance, the music, the writing, the stories. We've had many well-known, famous inventors, Einstein and Tesla too, that come to mind, that have written about how they didn't really invent, whatever they're known for, famous for. They learned how to tune in or tap into that right side and allow the concepts, ideas, information to come in. So with that said, I'll liken the two sides of the brain to two different computers. Left side is a computer that only has in it what's been stored in there since you were born. So for example, everything you began to witness when you came out, everything you were taught by your loved ones, your family, everything you were taught in school, everything you observed throughout your world, your reality, that's what's in the left side. So in other words, it's a computer that's programmed. It is, however, not connected to the internet, it just has what's been stored in it while you've been on Earth here. However, the right side is, again, same computer. However, this one is not stored data. This one is connected directly to the universal internet. And when we tune into the right side, it allows the information, unlimited universal information, to flow right in. You may have heard famous musicians be interviewed, and they'll be, they've written a very popular song and everyone's loving it, and they're asked, how'd you come up with those lyrics and, that music? And they'll say, it just dropped in. It took me 10, 15 minutes to write it out, but it just dropped in one day. Oftentimes they're in a meditative state or just a daydreaming mood, or they're on a road trip looking out the window of the vehicle they're in, and boom, in it comes. And so that's where this massive, profound information comes in on the right side. So given the choice, again, most people want to be in the right side when it comes to receiving information. There is a famous saying, I'm not going to get it, something to the effect of, you can't find the answer in the same place that you created the problem. In other words, if the answer was there, the problem wouldn't have occurred. So if we're going to the left side of the brain for answers, they're just not there. We want to be on the right side. And so what we want to do is keep that left side, again, active when need be, but tuned out when it comes to many things like important decisions. So one way that, again, I teach that helps you get that in check is just to understand, number one, understand that there's those two sides. And if you're hearing that doubting voice, that critical voice, if you're hearing judgment of, especially of yourself and also others, if you're hearing criticism, if you're in fear, it's coming from the left side. So just be aware of that. When you're in the right side and connected to that loving source, you don't feel those emotions. You don't feel, again, fear, judgment, concern, doubt, etc. So I found a very easy exercise, again, to get control of this. What I did was I envisioned, closed my eyes, and I envisioned myself in a vehicle in the front seat. However, the ego, my ego was a she, if you're a male, it can be he, but my ego, she ego, was sitting in the driver's seat and had a hold of the wheel. And that's how it had been or has been my entire life up till recently. She's in the driver's seat and I'm sitting in the front passenger seat. And we're on a road trip and we're visiting, and I begin to talk to the ego and thank her, appreciate her for all that she's done. Thank you for all the care. Thank you for watching out for me, keeping me safe. Thank you for all those situations where, you alerted me in advance. Thank you. So very appreciative. And then I followed that with, but you've got to be exhausted. That's been a lot of work to do all of that. And I'm so grateful, but you've got to be tired. So I tell you what here, why don't you hop in the back seat? There's a wonderful pillow and blanket back there, even snacks if you wish, but you hop in the back and I'll just scoot over and I'll take the wheel for a little bit, and that way you can get a break. So I said that, and I literally heard back. My ego went, no, I'm fine, and gripped the wheel even tighter. So like you would with a friend that maybe was trying to control the car steering wheel too much and it needed a break, I began to be a little more insistent. No, I insist, you're tired. Go in the back, take the break. I promise you it'll be fine. I'm a safe driver. When you're rested up, you can come back up. But go on and get in the back. Now, I'll give you a little hint. I had no intention of letting her back up, but I just needed to get her back there. And so convincing her that she could have the wheel back helped to do that. She still said, no, thank you. But like you would with a friend or loved one, I became more insistent. And I said, no, I'm serious. Jump on back there. And she was still resisting. So I literally scooped up underneath her and gave her a little shove, and back she went. I'll be honest, she was a little pouty at first and leaned back up behind me and acted like she wanted back in the front. And I said, no, it's okay. Just lay down. And there's that blanket and pillow, but take a break. And again, I'll talk to you later after you've napped. So I could hear her huffing and pouting back there, but I just ignored. And here I was at the wheel, and off I went. And I literally felt a shift occur, a pretty massive shift occur. And I knew that it was forever going to be different. And in that, I now was going to, number one, I was aware of the difference and how it felt. I was aware that I was now in control and would forever be in this existence. And it was huge. And I also made the conscious decision, not to defer to the ego mind for those important answers, always to do that on the right side, to tap into that. And boy, has my life changed since I've done that. Several things I do that really help me tune in is I'll put my hand over my heart and just take 3 really slow, deep breaths in and out, and just feel myself becoming heart-centered. So in other words, I want to feel myself in the heart. The heart is very connected to the right side of the brain, that universal connection. And so I want to get out of my head, out of my left side, and into my heart, and on that right side. And you'll become really good at understanding when you're there if you just practice it. You may not feel very much at first, but stay with it, and it will become very second nature. You'll find yourself, again, spending very little time over on this side, only when needed, and again, functioning mainly out of the right side. And you'll find yourself, having such an easier time, answers coming in very quickly. You just have to think of a question, or intend to think of a question, and answers slide in pretty quickly here. So it's a beautiful state to be in. But I teach this to all of the hypnosis clients, because what it allows them to do is also during their hypnosis session, if the ego mind tries to pop in, and it's quite common that it does that, they can then understand just to ignore it. To understand what it is, ignore it, and it will eventually just go to sleep and take its little nap during hypnosis so that they can get their true answers from that right side and from source. And so I would love you all to try this, to practice this. You create the scenario however you get your ego in the back seat. You can do that. Another thing that I do when you find yourself if you find your mind in a fussy place, you're focused on something or you're dwelling on something and it seems to be going round and round, you can't seem to get out of it, recognize again that means you're in the left side, the fussy, busy ego side of the brain. And again, that's not where your solutions are at, and it's not where your peace is at either. So what I want to do is I want to, like I said, hand over the heart, become heart-centered, take 3 slow, deep breaths in and out, and just feel yourself centering. And then what I like to do is I either imagine a elevator up here and myself pushing the button, the door is opening, I step inside, close the doors, and then the elevator comes down to the heart, and it opens up, and I step out, and now I'm in that heart space, which is connected to this right side. And so elevators work great. Others like to take the stairs. So imagine a set of stairs. You open a door, there's a set of stairs. Down the stairs you go from the left side down to the heart, which is then connected to the right. And again, that moves you over. Or if you wish to take a fireman's pole, however you can get down there. But I find these techniques are very effective and helpful. But just knowing that all of that fussiness, all of that upset, all of that irritation, jealousy, anger, doubt, especially criticism of self, that's a signal, clear signal that you're on the left. And again, just be aware that there are healthier options and much more peaceful options here when you maintain that balance on the right and seek your answers from that side. So hopefully this was helpful for you. I'd love to hear any input or comments. If there's some other technique that you've found that is helpful for you, we'd love to hear about that too. So go into the comment section. If you're new to this channel, we welcome you. Again, we're the Oasis of Light Quantum Healing Center. We do have a physical location in Meridian, Idaho. Also, we have our online presence. Our website is oasislightcenter.com. We do have some wonderful offerings there where you can become a member and receive unlimited access to all of our online information. We've got wonderful meditations and information and guidance offered. If you're in the local area here in the Treasure Valley of Idaho and can visit our center, then we have classes, we have programs, we have, again, healing modalities that are offered, several different types of hypnosis, including the quantum healing hypnosis, which again is the past life regression. We have energy alignment sessions. We have trainings. Again, come check us out or check us out online. So thank you so much. We'll be talking to you soon. Take care.